Hello K-pop lovers, welcome back to this channel. In a world full of flashing lights, camera shutters, and the roaring applause of fans, there is one story that has never truly dimmed. A story not written on paper, not declared in official statements, and not spread by agencies. Yet it lives, within glances caught on camera, in silences that speak louder than words. A story that continues to burn quietly in the hearts of millions. The story of Taekook. Jungkook and Taehyung. Two names that aren't just global icons in the music industry, but symbols of an emotional closeness that defies explanation. Countless times, armies have asked themselves, when did it really begin? When did Jungkook stop seeing Taehyung as just a fellow member, and start seeing him as someone who made his heart skip a beat? This story didn't begin with a declaration or a sweet promise. It started with something simple. Two teenagers meeting during their trainee days, long before stages and stardom arrived. At the time, Jungkook was only 15, a shy boy with a golden voice and eyes filled with wonder. Beside him, Taehyung radiated a quiet mystery, calm in his smile and different in how he saw the world. And maybe, that was when everything started. In an interview, Jungkook once said that Taehyung was the easiest person to approach. Even before BTS debuted, they were always seen together, playing games, watching anime, laughing without restraint. No awkwardness. No walls. Just two young souls feeling safe around each other in a world they didn't yet understand. But the question remains, when did it all become more than just friendship? For many loyal Taekook fans, one unforgettable moment came during the Boy in Love era. Amid flashing lights and intense choreography, there was a second, just 1 second, where Jungkook's gaze lingered on Taehyung. And that look? It wasn't one of mere admiration. It was the look of someone who saw their entire world through another's eyes. He didn't need to speak. His eyes said it all. I see you differently. Was that the beginning? Perhaps. But there was another moment that fans believe changed everything. Norway, 2016. The first season of Bon Voyage. A trip that was supposed to be a vacation. But for Taehyung, at one point, it felt lonely. He was seen sitting alone, a little withdrawn, like a child quietly feeling left out. Then Jungkook appeared, wordless, effortless. He simply sat beside him. No hugs, no consoling words. Just presence. A silence that was warm. And when Taehyung smiled gently after that moment, the world seemed to understand. Something deeper had been formed. Many armies believed that was the turning point. That was when Jungkook made a silent vow. He's not just my Hyung. He's someone I want to protect. The years rolled by, but the moments between them never faded. They only grew more meaningful. In every event, whether live broadcasts or award shows, Jungkook could always be found near Taehyung. Even in tightly choreographed seating arrangements, fans would catch glimpses of Jungkook quietly shifting places, moving just a little closer to him. There's one live broadcast that fans never forget. Taehyung, exhausted from a long day, fell asleep on Jungkook's shoulder. And Jungkook? He stayed perfectly still. He didn't move, as if Taehyung belonged there. As if his shoulder had always been his resting place. They have secret handshakes. Unspoken codes. A way of calling each other in a spoiled, tender tone that observant fans could never ignore. No, they've never openly declared love. The pressures of fame and image are far too great, but they didn't need to. The signs were always there. In interviews, Taehyung once said Jungkook is the person he trusts the most. Jungkook, in turn, said Taehyung is the one who always makes me laugh, even when I'm under a lot of stress. Again and again, they've been caught by cameras, looking at each other longer than they should, holding hands in a way that two people with something unspoken often do. And over time, their interactions only grew quieter, but deeper. No longer just bursts of laughter or playful teasing. Their relationship matured, calm, stable, and deeply rooted. When BTS began their solo projects, many fans feared their bond would slowly fade. But what happened was the opposite. They continued to support each other, in subtle likes, anonymous comments, in outfits that seemed like a quiet conversation between souls. Jungkook's protectiveness became even more obvious. At one concert, backstage, a staff member accidentally brushed against Taehyung while fixing his mic. At first glance, it was nothing. But Jungkook's expression shifted. He didn't say a word. He stepped forward, standing firmly beside Taehyung, his body language calm but commanding. I'm here. Be careful. That gesture wasn't just concern. It was a silent message. a reflection of something deeper, grown and nurtured over time.
He didn't stop there.
In a VLive broadcast, a fan commented that Taehyung should do a duet with another idol. Jungkook's reaction was subtle but undeniable. His face asked a simple question: why not me? And sure enough, not long after, we got that duet. A sweet, seamless moment that drove the fandom wild. Because Jungkook didn't want distance.
Not in music. Not in life.
He wanted to be there, on stage, behind the scenes, inside every lyric and every beat of Taehyung's world. There's a closeness between them that words can't describe. Jungkook notices the tiniest things about Taehyung. How he laughs. The tone of his voice when he's upset. The way he swallows back tears when he's hurting. He doesn't need Taehyung to explain, he just knows.
And whenever those moments come, Jungkook shows up. Not with grand speeches,
but with quiet, unwavering presence.
Because true love isn't always loud.
Sometimes, it's a whisper in the middle of chaos.
A stillness in a noisy world.
In Taekook's universe, love speaks through lingering glances, subtle protection, and an unspoken desire to stay near, no matter the storm. So, when did Jungkook fall in love with Taehyung?
Was it the first time he saw his smile? Was it when they sat silently on a train bench?
Was it when Taehyung fell asleep on his shoulder?
Or during one of those countless moments when they simply stared at each other and smiled?
There is no date.
No timestamp on this kind of love. Because love like this doesn't need a beginning. It just is.
From the very start, the world could see it. They always chose each other.
Again and again. In ways invisible to the ordinary eye.
And that, dear K-pop fans, is not a rumor.
It is a love story.
One that bloomed under the spotlight, but survived in silence. Taekook was never just a fan service fantasy. They are a story of comfort, of sincerity, and of a love that grows within the kind of companionship that can never be faked.
This story isn't over.
And maybe, it never will be.
Because there is love that doesn't need words.
Only the choice, again and again, to stay. Until next time, don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below.
What do you think was the most genuine Taekook moment?
And did you feel it too? That quiet love, growing right before our eyes?